Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Alex Warren, and welcome to Locked In, the show where we investigate the truth behind the clickbait. Once my guest steps in the studio, we lock the door, throw away the key, and you're only getting out when I say the investigation is over. On this episode, we're locking in Maria Legarda.
Legarda.
Oh,
How
close.
Do you want it?
I was so close. I was so close. See, that's not too bad. I fuck up a lot of last names in this podcast. I'm kind of known for it. My audience hates it when I do it. And so I think, honestly, I can get a little bit of a pass on this one.
This one was good. This one was good.
So there's a few things. I think, obviously, this is something where, I like to preface, just in case anyone watching or listening doesn't know who you are. Anything you want to, how would you define yourself?
Oh my gosh. Well,
Please.
I am an actress,
Beautiful.
a content creator,
Cool.
a businesswoman, honey.
There you
Okay. And I'm currently working on my own series that we're currently in the middle of pitching, negotiating for.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I'm super, super excited about it. So I'll be executive producing and acting in it as well.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Movie or TV?
TV show.
Okay, cool. And you're pitching it to
Right now we're in talks with like different production companies with Will Packer, like a bunch of different teams right now.
Oh, exciting.
And seeing end goal, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, whoever makes most sense for what we're looking for. Yes.
I saw you. Whoever gives, makes
Whoever makes, yeah.
What I've noticed with Netflix, traditionally is because we pitched our show to like Hulu and everyone, and Netflix wasn't like the most money, but it's always like the most recognition. I think they know that.
Yeah,
I think they know that because that's where you're gonna get like most of the following.
Yeah.
So before we start, I want to preface. Sometimes we talk about some deep shit. Sometimes we don't. It just depends on where it goes. I think this podcast is like each episode varies on what the style is. Like sometimes it's therapeutic, sometimes it's really deep and inspirational, and other times it's just a fun chat where like I'm interviewing cool people that I may have not met. Because something with this is ever since I started this job, I don't really leave the house. I always just work and I don't get to meet new people. I don't go to the events and parties and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Of the LA
Why?
life.
I just
don't care.
You just don't care.
I just don't care about meeting.
You just don't
people.
enjoy them anymore.
But the cool thing about this is, and so the cool thing about this is like I get to meet people in the space and also get to know them on a more deeper level than I think I would have when they were tipsy off some 1942 in a mansion that's rented.
Yes. Oh, you just gave the actual breakdown of
so
this.
this is fun. So the thing is, I said a crime. So if something bad or not bad, so something sad or maybe we're talking about something we want to go to a lighter place, I can always bring up the crime and whatnot.
For sure.
It's a make-believe crime. It's just something that I have to, by the end of it, decide whether or not you'd be guilty of if you were accused of it.
Okay.
The crime is poisoning your enemies by serving them one of your dishes. And I think to preface that to the audience, if you don't know what we're talking about, is on her TikTok or on her social media, she has also posted, cooking videos.
Yes.
And I think, to go off that, we might as well just start. You're from Colombia.
Yes.
That's fucking cool.
Thank you.
When did you migrate? When did you come here, and what was that like?
So I came here when I was 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My parents just really wanted to give us, the better dream, bigger opportunities than they had. So at 9 years old, they were like, pack your bags, we're leaving. And they kind of painted it out to be a fantasy, you know what I mean? Because they didn't really want to tell us what was going on. My dad was like head of military, head of police around the Pablo Escobar time. So it was a really heavy time. It was around the time, in Colombia where they were paying like $3,000 for a cop to be, killed. Wow. And my dad is head of that. So he's in head of getting all the bad guys. And so my parents got to a point where it was kind of dangerous for us. And there was threats of our family being kidnapped. So my parents was like, we can't live this. So we headed out and we moved to Atlanta and it was amazing. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I know. It just got real deep real quick.
You ever go back?
Yeah, no. We're good. Everything
cool.
is good. So I have all my family there. That's where my fan base and my following, everything exploded in Latin America.
Beautiful.
In Colombia. So no. It's amazing. Colombia's home. Colombia is an incredible place and it's changed obviously a lot.
I love that so much.
So,
I noticed that my producers had written down in your dossier that your astrology symbol is a Sagittarius. I don't know why they did that, but is that
they felt it in their soul.
Do you like follow that type of stuff?
No, I mean,
that's so random.
I love it.
You guys write that.
Y'all felt the fire.
I also want to preface the amount of times I've seen she shakes her booty on this fucking dossier is actually fucking funny. I'm reading through it before we start because, obviously I want to get my facts right and stuff with you as well.
Yes.
My job here is to A, get to know you better, but B, be able to reflect that to my audience in a proper way.
Of course.
So I don't want to like act like I don't know anything.
No.
So I'm reading this and all I just see is like, I'm scoping it and like light scanning it, shakes booty. I'm like, who the fuck wrote this?
It is true. I do shake my booty a lot, especially my cooking content. Look, I feel like it's just how I cooked, and that's why I started filming it. And I was like, I'm gonna have fun with it. I twerk in the kitchen. I'll make some bomb food. I'm just
saying, shake what your mama gave you.
Yeah, we're out here. So I do it a lot of my videos in life.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think you're wrong.
Yes.
And so Colombia, do you ever think you're gonna go back?
Oh, I mean, I go back all the time, like to visit. I have
Sure.
all my family there. Like only my mom and dad are here, my sister. So my aunts, uncles, like I don't have any family here. So we go there all the time. But to live, no. I mean, for me, the States is definitely home. Like I love it, and I love LA.
And so how long have you been in LA?
I'm 2 years. I'm like one of those few people that actually really loves LA.
Really? I fucking hate it.
Yeah, but I tell everybody I'm like, I love LA because I'm here, I'm focused, I'm working, and can I cuss on this podcast? Okay. And I don't fuck with any of like the LA dumb shit. Like I'm, you know what I mean? Like I keep my circle tight, positive, anything toxic or clout chasing, I'm all the way good on it. Sure. So I do what I gotta do. And then I stay in my beautiful home apartment with my sister and meditate and just bring good energy around me. So I love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my biggest thing is like I personally just, I'm very open about this on this podcast. I think my audience hears me talk more shit about LA than I do the good. Just because I've been here for like 3 years. I come from like a surface city and California where like, I grew up surfing and all these things. So it's like something where I definitely miss like the humility and the nice air and kind of like a lot of stuff. And I don't even leave my house anymore to the point where I'm just like, I could do this anywhere.
Yeah.
And so sadly, like, with the music and everything that I do is I do have to be here. So I kind of just like, I don't know. I love parts of LA. There's a lot of bad more than good. And it's kind of like a weird ass thing, but some people love LA.
Yeah. I love it. But like I said, I stay out of any of like the fuckery of it. You know what I mean? I see it. We're around it, but I'm just like, I'm good on that. Thank you. Like, I'm gonna head out now.
I love that. So how long you been doing like the social media thing? What made you get started with it? I love hearing everyone's stories.
So social media was really crazy for me. I'm an actress. Before I did social media or anything, I was auditioning for different shows. I was already like booking different shows here and there in Atlanta. And then I came out to LA for a callback for a series. Yeah. I had 5,000 followers. Oh, wow. And there was this creator at the time. His name was Tonio Skits. And he's like killing. He's in like 2 million and up. Like all his videos are going viral. And I just thought he was so funny. I knew nothing about this, right? And I just slid in his DMs and I was like, hi, if you ever need an actress in your videos, like I'm here. And
cool.
I reached out to a bunch of creators because I was like, let me try this. And he replied, he's like, I actually do today out of nowhere. And I was like, oh my God, for real? I was like, what if he kills me? Like I texted my friends. I was like, guys, if I die, like just come looking for me. I'm here.
Right.
I did a sketch with him. It took off and I was like, he was like, you can do this and like be an actress and not have to be like a waitress and a college student, like, struggling, like you can do this and make money. And I was like, for real? Yeah. And so then I started doing it. I started with comedy. That's how I started. Sure. And everything just started escalating from there. So I came out to LA. I stayed here just for 1 month. My following, I worked with everybody and I just like learned, you know what I mean? I wasn't even creating. And then my brother at the time, he is a very big reggaeton artist in Colombia and everything was really taking off. Like he started kind of like understanding the social media world and he was like, Mari, just be authentic to whatever you want it to be. Yeah. And so my sister started getting on YouTube. So we were all kind of like a family separately, all three doing different things. But what really took off was just more so the family aspect and us being like these Latinos that are Colombians, but like don't speak it all perfectly and like don't pretend to be perfect. You know what I mean? And just the family aspect kind of really, really took off and just seeing that genuine family vibe and silly and everything.
That's nice. That's really cool. So you had like the family support in it too. Yeah,
of course. Like my brother was in the music, so he was very heavy in the music, but he was just very much like do what you want to do. You know what I mean? And my sister started doing it, and we all kind of started doing it separately, and then kind of started finding what worked. You know what I mean? And for us, the Latin market just really, really took off at first because we were kind of different in that aspect. We weren't like the regular Colombian YouTubers because we didn't speak Spanish perfectly. We had a very American swag to us. And They fucked with it.
Oh, that's fucking cool. So what do your parents and like your brother think of you now?
So my brother actually passed away. Passed away. Thank you. My brother passed away. He passed away in 2019, February 7th, 2019. Yeah, it was really crazy.
You don't need to speak of this.
No, of course. No, it's actually the series that we're working on right now, like the series that we're pitching, is a series about my brother's life. Wow. And it's actually a scripted series. But no, it was everywhere. My brother was a very, very well-known reggaeton artist, and he was in the car on his way home. We had just gotten off the phone. I was telling him I actually just booked a series on a TV show, and it was really big for me. And he goes, you're going to be one of the biggest actresses in Hollywood. And I was like, shut up, you're just saying that because you love me. And he's like, I'm really happy, Mari. I was like, good, I love you. We were best friends. He's like my soulmate. Yeah. We got off the phone, and as he's in the stoplight, a motorcycle pulled up to a Brinks truck, started trying to rob the Brinks truck. Shots were fired. One of the 8 shots went in his head, and he died in that moment, 5 minutes after we got off the phone.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know this just turned into a whole different kind of story than we were talking about.
That's typically how this
podcast
works.
Yeah. So that was a really big changing moment. I mean, my life, our family's life got turned upside down. You know what I mean? And a lot of my following and everything that came too was kind of, I understand it now looking out, because whenever I see somebody's family member pass away, I follow them because I'm like, how do they deal with grief? You know, it's such a universal thing that we all deal with, are going to have to deal with, but everybody deals with it so differently. And so my brother was in such a brink of his career in Colombia, and everything was popping off, and it was insane. And all of a sudden, this superstar that happens to out of nowhere, you know, and it was a really big life-changing thing for my family and I.
I understand that. I'm so sorry that had happened to you. That's something crazy where it's like, you know, with me and with loss, a lot of times it's like, you know, it set me up to where I am today. And I say this to everyone, and if you're not familiar with my story, I lost my dad when I was young, and then my mom passed away last year, October, from drinking too much after that. And so she drank herself to death. And, you know, I've lost, you know, everyone, like you said, goes at it differently. Yeah. And with me, like a lot of my music, I even have it in my bios, my music's about dead people. And it's like, it's true. It's like, you know, no matter where you are in your life, you could be, you know, extremely successful and rich, and you could be like Jeff Bezos, or you could be, you know, someone who's struggling, and everyone can relate to pain, and everyone can relate to loss, and everyone, because it happens to everyone. And the outlet for me is I chose to write about it and make music about it and make people feel a certain way. And it's very much in the same structure of like, you know, you're making a TV series to make someone feel a certain way in that exact aspect. And it's the way I cope. It's my therapy. I get all my feelings out on paper and make it into something beautiful, like art. And it allows you to open up and help other people as well. 100%.
And like, do you ever feel like your parents are around? Like, do you feel that energy at all?
It just depends. Like, I was raised very Christian, like very like God oriented. And sometimes it's like, you know, I didn't have like a proper parental structure in my life. And so like for me, I had to pretty much raise myself.
Gotcha.
I think I've lived my life vicariously in them. And so, or they've lived, like the way is like I've lived my life in memory of them. So my dad would walk around. He knew he was dying before I was even born. So he'd walk around with like a camera and like film all of us, and like kind of like that way when we were older we could see exactly what he was like. So he didn't know how long he had, and he had beaten it 3 times, and the 4th time it got him. And I look back on those videos, and you know, I have a docuseries coming out using those videos. I have, you know, my music coming out that's about that time, and even in like our Netflix show, like we touched on it, I went to his grave and stuff, and like these are things where it's like, you know, it's something where I keep the memory alive.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to like, you know, things that happen in my life, it's very easy for before to just write it off as like coincidence in life, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
It's just deep down, it's like, you know, I'll pray all the time and not really have a general idea, but I think they're with me. I think that you know, all the people I've lost are.
Oh yeah, look, I could go down a rabbit hole with this because I have stories that tell for days, but I feel you, and it's beautiful because I feel like my brother is always with me.
And that's
like,
something amazing.
Always.
I've just kind of set my life out to be like in memory of them. I think it's like, you know, with my vlogs, I shot them the exact same way my dad shot his little videos before he's passing.
That's beautiful.
I filmed it with my friends because it was like, you know, I want to be able to show my kids this, and like, you never know with life.
Yeah.
And also like, you know, the music and you know, my tattoos are all about my parents, which is so funny. So it's like,
and grief is such it's not a linear thing, and people think like it is, and it's not, and that's the craziest part about it. You know what I mean? It's a journey that's ongoing all the time that I'm always working on, and that I think anybody who's watching this can agree. You know, one day you're like happy and you're like, oh, this memory, and then the next day you're like, if they were here, you know, and it's like working through those feelings it's insane, but it's a journey.
I think the hardest thing about when you lose someone is then watching someone go through it, and then they come to you while they're going through it and ask, what is it like? How do you get over it? And all this stuff. And it's so difficult. I think it's the hardest part about it, genuinely. Like, and it's so weird. And I'll tell people this, and like, what do you mean that's the hardest part about it? And I'm like, it's difficult because for me, I have in my opinion, an unhealthy way of how I cope with it. I don't go to therapy. I don't go to like the proper things that people do. I don't like sit there and, you know, wallow and mourn the way that most people do. I just submerge myself in work and build up. And so it's like something that is difficult, I think, for me is when people ask me these questions and I'm not able to. They're asking you this question to get a sense of relief. Yeah. They're asking you the question to get a sense of light. This gets better.
Yeah.
And realistically, it doesn't. But it's just something that you learn to live with and are able to live in memory of. And there's a good and bad to everything. And that's how I've lived. But it's so fucking difficult because it's the same analogy. Like, you can't tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And you also, you know that if you tell them what they want to hear, it's going to be 10 times worse when they actually experience it.
Yeah.
And if you tell them the truth, you're going to let them down.
Yeah.
And so it's a difficult position you get put into because, especially like for me, I talk about it.
Yeah.
I have videos on it. I'm very open about it because it's something I've gone through all this.
For sure.
And I don't know. I think it's something where it's like, I don't know if you've gone through that yet or if that's something that you've done, but it's, you know, once you put out this series and stuff, it's amazing because you're able to share your story.
Yeah.
It's such an impactful story.
Yeah.
But you're also like, you know, you're going to be the spokesperson for that.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's what happened. After my brother passed away, my sister and I kind of became the spokesperson for this. And like, where, so many people are coming to you, you're getting millions and millions of messages of like, how did you do this? Like, how did you deal with this? You know what I mean? And I think one thing I've realized is that like everybody copes differently. And I think the way I've chosen to handle like grief and the way I go about my life is I think we're all different souls living experiences that we have to live in this lifetime in order for our souls to elevate. That's truly what I believe. I think we all get... We all get handed different things in this life. I tell everybody, like I didn't, you didn't think, okay, I was going to grow up without both of my parents and this things, but it's like, that is what your soul needed in this life. My soul needed to go through that. And it's like so hard to think about that as you're going through it. And there's so many shitty things that happen, but I truly am a firm believer that like, we have to experience these things in order for our souls to elevate and the growth to happen. I really believe that, as bad as they may seem. Like,
do you know why I'm smiling?
Why?
I told Calvin this yesterday.
No way.
Exactly the way you're saying it, except for soul. I said for, yourself and like there's a good to everything, and so many people focus on the bad of it, and it ends up, they end up seeing the good later in life. And but it's something like, if every bad thing happens to you, if you look at the good of what it's done for you, like not even the good, but like it's setting you up to be stronger, or it's setting you up to be wiser, or it's setting you up to cherish things and not take things for granted. And there's a story and a lesson for everything. And I think it's like, whether it's your religion that you are viewing in that way, if like, let's say you're Christian, you're viewing the Bible, it's like everything in the Bible, whether or not it happened to your best extent of recollection, it's like they taught you lessons in life. Treat your neighbor the way you're supposed to treat them. Don't lie, don't sin, and like all these things. And it's like, and no matter what, in each like book or in each teaching of someone that's not religious, or even, thinking about your soul, your body, and your mind, they're all things that lead to the exact same message, which is just so funny to me, because so many people like berate religion, or they berate science, or they berate whatever. It's like
whatever
all of them is like, again, all lead back to your body and your mind growing.
Yeah, and your soul and like what it has to experience, because like you're never gonna like. I really, really, truly believe, like, I believe in God, just like you were saying, I believe in God, but I also literally will talk to my brother. I'll be like, yo, listen, bro, I got this meeting. Yeah. And I know you could pull more strings up there than I can.
Right.
And I'm going to need you to be with me because I'm stressed. You know what I mean? And I feel his energy and I feel his essence. And I think those energies are around us all the time. Like after my brother passed away, I had to go straight to working on a TV show and bringing it. You know what I mean? When I tell you I was working 13-hour days, crying in between, like having panic attacks in between takes, having makeup touched up. All right, cool, let's film. And I would just be like, please give me the strength. God, please give me the strength. I would literally envision myself walking into set with like angels all around me, and I would find the strength. I told my team, I was like, guys, if I can't act, I'm giving y'all what I can. My brother just passed away. And they were like, look, you can quit right now if you want. And I didn't, you know what I mean? But it's like, everybody has their own way of coping. And I know how to quit. It would have been fine too. You know what I mean? I just choose to believe that like those angels are never, like they never leave us.
That's beautiful. And it's a beautiful outlook on life. And it's very like, it's something where it's like, it's difficult to find people who can, because it's the same analogy of like telling them not to think something and then they're going to think of something. And I use this exactly in the podcast before this. So my producers are probably like, this kid's a fucking revolving door. But no, genuinely, it's like, it's so difficult to get in that mindset. So I commend you for that. That's very brave and very, very courageous in a way.
You.
And so I'm reading this. You are a manifestation master. What does that mean?
Oh my God, that is. I love
someone on my team is a fan of you, and I'm worried it might have been the dudes.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So I have on my bio manifestation master.
Lovely.
I am a very, very firm believer of truly like manifesting in what we see ourselves and how we talk to ourselves, and everything I have ever wanted and the things I've wanted have actually exceeded, and it's always come from like a very strict like letting myself flow. It's something funny not to say this strictly, but letting myself flow along with my work ethic, and like also really, really having a vision and believing I can. Right. You know what I mean? I actually met, this is going to sound crazy, with like an angel therapist, and she pulled out a card and she was like, you have the gift of manifestation. You know this, right? And I was like, I've always said it, but until you proved it to me, because you make time, now I know. And it's just been one of those things that like I say because I truly, truly do believe that we all are manifestation masters. I think whether we want to pull out the positive or the negative, and I test it all the time. Like sometimes I'll wake up and I'll have this dense energy and I'm like, okay, Maria, you don't want to believe this energy is affecting you? Right. Keep that same energy. And then I'll see just shit go bad to worse. And then I quickly have to just like find a way, center myself, flip it, find something, even if it's lying to myself about it, and everything changes around. So it's like, I don't think I have anything that nobody else has. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think I just truly tell myself, and I feel like I just keep on telling myself I'm a manifestation master. I tell myself I'm aligned every single morning. Yeah. So I literally attract things that I'm aligned to. Like it started off as a joke. Yeah. I was like, guys, I'm aligned. I told my friend, I'm aligned. And then shit really started aligning. And I was like, wait, the power of the tongue is really strong. And I was like, guys, I'm aligned. I'm going to get this. oh my God, y'all, I really got it. I didn't know if I was really going to get it.
Sure.
I got it. And then the things happen and I'm in LA. Like it literally happened. So it's just, I have that in my bio, but I think it's something that like we all have, you know?
See, I struggle, and I'm going to be fully transparent with you. I believe in, I hate even saying it because it's just like, to me, it's like, again, like I grew up so differently, but like with me, it's like I manifest for so long. Like I had Post-it notes over my fucking computer and everything. But like for me, it's like, I think you will take in all the energy that you put out. And like that's just something, whether it's not like the spiritual energy, I'm just saying, like, even if you communicate with, like, if I went over into the room next door and I was very kind to someone, I'm expecting them to be kind back to me. And like that's just the whole like idea that I have. But like when it comes down to like crystals, when it comes down to the manifestation of like, you know, really like kind of like preaching it, it's something that like I'm skeptical. I partake in it, but I also have no idea anything about it. And it's something where like I'm in my kind of old-fashioned mindset on it of kind of like, oh, this is just fucking a bunch of Looney Tunes ideas.
Yeah.
And then
it's
when
very
I
LA.
do it, yeah, exactly, because you have to think every corner you go here, people are like, I'm reading your energy.
Yeah, like this aura color.
Are you a Taurus? And I go, no. And they're like, okay, give me a second. I'm getting very Taurus vibe off of you. And they're like, when's your birthday? And I'm like, if I tell you that, it's gonna give it away. And they're like, do you like crayons? And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, shut the fuck up.
Do you like burgers?
Yeah, it's like, and they're like, they go, okay, Cancer. And I go, no.
Your girlfriend's a Cancer.
No.
And
I'm like, I'm a Virgo. And they're like, yeah, that was my next guess. And they're like, what moon are you? And I'm like, I don't know. What the fuck are you asking me?
The same moon you're looking at.
And that's just something that's like, you know, sadly, like, maybe, like, I'm very optimistic. I'm very open-minded.
Listen, I get it.
But, like, at some point, too, it's like, it's the same thing as the people who read your palms. Sometimes I'm just not convinced by it.
No, for sure.
But that being said, yesterday, I overworked myself. And so, like, you know, and I'll fill you in on me. And I also think this is, like, a valuable story for people listening, too, is, like, you know, I have been under a great amount of stress just because, like, for me, I signed a record label deal. I've been working my ass off for the last 6 months, like vocal lessons, like music theory lessons, everything, training my ass off. And, you know, I'm really, 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 really nervous. And I feel like, you know, I overthink everything. And I just broke down yesterday. And just in the morning, I was talking to my girlfriend and I was just so frustrated with, like, how things were going because I was expecting them to go better by time. And I just broke down crying. And I like literally, and she's like, I don't like to show people how I feel. It's just something I just do just because, like, I'm in my house. I'm kind of like the one helping more people than I'm getting help.
Yeah.
I've always preferred that opposed to getting the help. And so, like, for me, I just broke. I just fully broke. And, you know, she was just sitting there and being like, it's going to be all okay and all this stuff. And, you know, everyone says that to console someone. And
of course.
I think at one point in that day, I was talking to Calvin in the pool and I was just like, you know what? Things are going to be fine. I'm overthinking things. Things are going to be great. And, like, that day forward, like, I woke up really, really terribly. Like, we're terrible. Like you said.
Just dense energy.
I'm going to use your dense energy.
There we go.
And not buoyant, dense.
Dense.
And so the viscosity of my energy was very dense. And so like, once I started just telling myself, it's okay. Like, everything's going to be fine. I got to work. And then I was just like, you know, I'm going to take it off. We're going to go to... You know, we partook in stuff like activities to get your, you know, mind off things. Like we went to a shooting range and I just got all of it out. And I was just like, you know, everything is like, you know, the things that are like dangerous and scary and whatnot to some people. I went there and I got my mind off things, went to dinner, came home and I'm like, I feel better. And, you know, so I don't know if it's the dense energy leaving my environment or if
so you got to play, like you kind of played. Yeah,
and I don't know what it is. Maybe like, and there's so many theories on what it, and the beautiful thing about this is no one fucking knows. Everyone has their belief in how things work, whether it's religion, whether they simultaneously fall in together, whether it's science and evolution, or whether it's, you know, neurons and nerves in your head and your frontal lobe and how, you know, it's not fully developed until 25 and all these things. And like, there's so many different categories of like things that you can subscribe to. And the ideas of why you work. But no one knows why the fuck we work.
Yeah.
Everyone has a fucking theory. And you know, in manifestation comes meditation and you know, and a lot of like that, you know, Buddhism and all this stuff. And it's just, it's so mind-boggling crazy because Buddhists believe that, you know, if you clear the mind and you take deep breaths and you do all these things, and scientists are like, take deep breaths and try and get your mind off things, but also like, you know, be able, like, it's so funny because they all align, all these different fucking things. And
everybody has different things.
And I love that everyone watching or listening is probably like, these guys are fucking going off on tangents. What the fuck are they doing? it's so cool because it's like it's just very much like a unknown in the world, and everyone has their own belief, and then shit on the other beliefs that all do the same fucking thing.
They all, and that's what I'm saying. Like it comes down to what works for you. Like I look at it as like my body. I look at it as like an energetic field, truly, and like along with like prayer and all of that is a part of my life, and working out. Like I like to wake up and be active, get that energy out. But like I've realized, and you know how you're saying you're a workaholic. Like I feel you. I am an extreme, and it's kind of like I think grief makes people workaholics. To be honest, a lot of times when people tell me workaholics, I'm like, who died in your family? Tell me. Always. And they're like, oh yeah, my so-and-so. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it, because it's kind of like a really great way to like dive into something and feel like not guilty, because it's not anything bad, right? You're doing something positive. So for me, that happened, like everything you're saying. And then I would reach these breaking points, and I had to have a talk with myself about a few months ago where I was like, what is fun for Maria? Like, what is actually fun? And the thing about it is, I feel, and I'm sure you feel this way too, we have the blessing to love our work, like love what we do so much that sometimes we confuse that, right? For like fun and work. But then I'm like, no, like I need to find something that has nothing to do with acting, nothing to do with content creation, nothing to do creatively, that is fun for me. And I started realizing like how much that helped me. You know what I'm saying? And when it came to like manifestation and all those things, like waking up in the morning, and I would just align. Like I was like, if this thought doesn't make me feel good, then it's not aligned to what I should be focusing on. So I started focusing on different. So it's like everybody has different manifestation ways or whatever. I'm not gonna sit here and pray over a crystal and be like, this is gonna happen. No, I work my ass off for it. But I also every morning I say to God, and I pray and I say, God, like bring whoever needs, like my name is in rooms that I can't even imagine, and bring the people that I need to have in my life, and take anything that's not necessary. I surrender. And I know I might have a dream, but yours are different than mine. Let's go with it. So I let myself flow too. You know what I mean?
It's beautiful. I think it's also something where it's like, you know, whether or not you subscribe to the ideas, it's something that's like you do have to commend yourself. Like that's something that's like it allows you to have a positive outlook, and like I have a different way of thinking.
Yeah,
completely different from that, and yet we still have the same end result.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, everyone's always focusing, whether it's politics, whether it's fucking fuck politics, whether it's like it's just so cool because all of them have the same goal as the end result. It's just the arguing and the judging and the fucking hypocrisy of just the action to get to it, which is kind of
literally
really interesting.
Do you feel like you have a good work and life balance?
No, not at all.
Okay.
That's something that's like sad because I don't know and some, just obviously I'm going to give you some like anyone new listening, but also some background on it. Is like, you know, I was homeless. I've been shot. I've lost my parents. I've lost a lot of people to addiction. I've lost a lot of people to depression. And it's weird because like everyone in my life dies. And so like that was the biggest thing where I started growing away from people. I started protecting myself because it was like, you know, so many people, especially like I'll watch sad movies at my house and I just can't cry. And like my friend Michael is literally like, you're a psychopath, you're a sociopath, you can't cry. And I'm like, no, I've just built this way of thinking because I protect myself from caring if someone dies. And it's
so regular.
It's so, yes. And it's like mind-boggling how much it happens to me. But at the same time too, it's like, you know, that is so unhealthy because it's like, you know, loss and grieving and being able to like we said earlier, that's something so important in life. But in my work life as well, as like, you know, I don't want to ever go back to homelessness. I know what it's like to not know where you're sleeping the next day. I know what it's like to have nothing. And I had all these aspirations in life and I finally here, but I also like, I'm just constantly contradicting myself because I never want to go back. So I spend a bunch of money, which makes no sense. I never want to go back because I spend a bunch of money because I know that if I'm seeing money go down in my bank account, I'll work 10 times harder. Because I have employees. I have, you know, people that depend on me to have a roof over their head. I have animals that depend on me to feed them. And I have a amazing fucking girlfriend who depends on me to be able to be there every step of the way. And so we lived together. We lived together for 4 years. She was homeless with me.
Wow, that's a ride or die.
She moved from Hawaii to live with me. I told her I had a place to stay, and she got here, and I was like, you know, I don't.
My car.
Not even. I didn't have a car. It was my friend's car, and like Calvin, who was in there just over there. Calvin, 2 times I've mentioned your name now. They have a bet going on if I can mention him over 6. And he literally let us sleep at his house sometimes, sleep at our other friend's house. He gave me $600 to get a guest apartment for the first month, and I had to figure it out after that. And ever since then, me and all of them have lived together. And
wow.
It's something special and amazing and very family oriented, but no, yeah, it's something I struggle with the work balance because I live with the people I love. Therefore, I never need to leave the house. But even, you know, me sleeping in the same bed as my girlfriend, I fail to spend like I'm pretty shit boyfriend. I'm pretty understanding of that too. She's my rock, dude.
Oh.
Like if I break down, she'll go out to Target and buy me like every single one of my favorite things, like Lululemon.
She's just really there for you,
bro. She gave me like a back massage and like a bath when I was so stressed, and like I'm sitting here like I can't even take her on a proper date, and it's just like it's something where it's like, you know, I'm working on it so terribly, but I'm just so focused on like the fact that I'm gonna marry her and we're gonna have kids, and I'm gonna want to take care of those kids, and I don't want to be on tour knowing I'm gonna miss my kids' first steps, or I'm gonna miss, you know, my wife giving birth, or I'm gonna miss like all these things because like I grew up without a dad.
Yeah, so you really want to be there.
Exactly. And so it's like, it's such a mind fuck.
No, I listen, I totally understand what you're getting, because everything you're saying, like, it resonates with me so much, because I went into extreme therapy to figure out why I was working from like all my intense hours.
Right.
I got down to therapy and her being like, your work ethic comes from like lack of like feeling like almost like you're working so endlessly because you never want to like go back to how it used to be, or like, you know, you said you have these dreams, but it's like, when are you going to start, not you, I'm saying like, this is what you told me, like, when are you going to start working from just like a place of like, this is enough and everything I do is already abundantly enough. And I was like, I don't know. What is that mindset? I was like, what is that mindset? I was like, she was like, she's foreigner. So she was like, you Americans always think you got, you know, I went to Europe and they were like, you have no life and work balance. What is wrong with you guys? You guys don't take these naps during the day. And you guys, and I was like, no, what do you mean I have to work like 10-hour days? Like, what do you mean? And they were like, no, you don't. And I was like, damn. So it's like, I feel you. Like, I really understand where you're coming from. And it's something like that I've really, really struggled with. So it's like, this year, for example, I told myself, like, no matter what, I'm taking vacations. Like, I am taking vacations where I put my phone down. I am like I almost had to like really get strict about when was the last time I had a lot of fun that had nothing to do with work, nothing to do with anything, like just fun. And it's like crazy. I'm like, I'm scheduling in my fun. What is wrong with me? You know? Right. But it's like, sometimes it's about like really finding what balance is for you, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel you.
All right, we're going to switch to something a little more fun.
Yes.
We're going really deep. And it's awesome. I do, but we're going to be here for hours if we do this.
No, it's fine.
Where do you get the best Colombian food in LA?
Oh.
Please, for the love
my
of
house.
God.
My house.
Besides
come over for dinner. Bring your girlfriend.
Again, I'm so down. So she's Hawaiian. So I film her sometimes on my TikToks of like making authentic Hawaiian food. And
Yum.
It's so dope.
And she knows how to. I know your girlfriend. Yeah, like I've seen you guys' stuff. I think she seems like the sweetest girl ever.
Bro, she makes some fire. Like, she knows exactly where to go. Like the world market sometimes if she wants, like, because you know Hawaiian is very much stuff. Like Japanese descent and like a lot of stuff there. And so like she gets every like fresh fish or anything she can find. She
I need to talk to her and find this. Oh,
like musubis, and it's insane. And but the thing is, she grew up with so much rice, and like I naturally was a fat kid. And so, like, when she comes, she can eat whatever they want. She's fine. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to consume, like, millions of carbs. And all of a sudden, like, I notice I'm getting a belly. And she's like, let's go to sushi for the 8th time this week. And I'm like, huh?
And you're like, what is happening? No, I would say the best, to be really, really honest with you, I don't think LA has really good Colombian food. There's nothing. I've been to a few. The best one I would say is La Fonda-ish. Like, that's the name of it. It's called La Fonda. And it's, like, it's good. It'll do the job if I'm, like, really not in the mood to cook. But I haven't found anywhere where I'm like blown away, to be honest. That's my own.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah. It's just, they have some bomb Mexican food though.
Right.
Amazing.
LA has terrible Mexican food. I don't know what you're talking about.
What? Yeah. I loved it.
No, so San Diego, I grew up in San Diego.
Okay, I've been to San Diego. Yeah, there's levels.
San Diego is the best Mexican food.
That is true. I've been
so good. And do you know what's the funniest thing? Is so my label sent me out to Nashville 2 weeks ago to re-record one of my songs, and I had gotten Mexican food because I couldn't have dairy. Because when you're singing, like for me,
of course,
I can't have dairy when I'm singing. It'll like fuck me. But I got a California burrito without dairy in it because like I wanted to eat, but I also couldn't. Like everything else has like fucking chicken. And,
of course.
Anyway, I ate it, and I swear to God, I could not shut the fuck up because of how good it was. It tasted just like home. And in
Nashville.
Yeah, and keep my tia is like very much like she's from Ensenada and in Mexico. And so
you have Mexican family.
She like she's not blood related. She like grew up with me. Like
she
started off as a nanny, and then when my dad passed away, she had moved in to help raise us because my mom was incapable of it. Like my mom was abusive. Very like backstory is always like something that I'm trying to talk about more, but it's just something so fucked up. But she practically raised us, and so she would just make us she would teach us Spanish. She would make us like these amazing this amazing food, and I miss her every second of the day, and she's stuck in Ensenada, and so it's like it sucks because it's like she was like my mom, but no, it was very much like the food she made me and the food I had in Nashville tasted the same, and I was blown away by it.
Damn, really?
Because it's Nashville.
Yeah, I did not think you were gonna say that. I did not think you were gonna say that.
Where the I was so confused because like we went to Edley's, we went to Hottie B's, which is just like some gnarly ass fucking food.
Yeah.
And fucking insane Ensenada descent. Someone moved there or something.
Somebody made it feel like home.
It's like, imagine you find an authentic Colombian restaurant in Nashville.
in like West Hollywood.
What? It's so random.
Damn, that is amazing.
Okay, okay, I have to ask this.
Okay.
How do I phrase this? Dating in LA. I never had to do it because I came to LA already in a relationship. Her and I have been dating for almost 5 years now.
Okay, she moved here. You said she moved here with you?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we did this all from the start, from the jump. Never had, I'm very loyal. She's loyal. There's nothing like, we never like went around trying to fuck every heartbeat thing.
Yeah.
LA, I've always heard horror stories. What's it been like with you? Especially because, like, you post on social media, you have a prominent following, something is like crazy, like how is boyfriends, like walk me through the whole thing. And especially like Colombia, I don't know much about Colombians and I don't know anything about that. Like, I want to know everything.
Oh, you want to know it all?
Fill me in.
So it's funny, when I moved to LA, I had just gotten out of a 6-year relationship. So
what
I moved.
The fuck?
Yeah. I got out of a 6-year relationship.
Yeah.
Heartbroken. And I was like, ended that. Then like by August, I moved out here. Okay. Right. And that ended like back in March. So, but then pandemic hit. Right. Anyways, so I moved here, and so the first 2 years I was just like single, like super on my own, dating around, but just very cautious. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like trying to just date everybody. There's a lot of fluff in the dating LA scene, but I feel like I was always annoyingly optimistic. Like I was like, no, I'm gonna find like a really, like, I'm annoyingly optimistic. I am. And trust me, sometimes I'm like, Maria, shut the fuck up. Like, do you even believe this? Like, but like I like everybody's like, oh, the LA dating scene sucks. The Atlanta dating scene sucks. In New York. So I was like, I feel like everybody says that about every city. But I was like, I'm not even kidding. I would be like, God just like plays great men in my life. Were there some shitty ones? Yes, there were. But I also feel like it came down to, kind of where I was too. So I feel like I did a lot of inward, like, what do you want? What do you really want? What's a non-negotiable for you? So, I mean, I dated some cool guys, some not so cool guys, some artists that like, it's just babysitting those feelings of like, you're an artist and then like, I gotta, mother your feelings and your things. But, then I recently got in a relationship not too long ago.
Oh, and exciting.
Yeah. And it's like the happiest I've ever been.
Are you
honestly.
private about that? Or are you?
No. I mean, I'm kind of public about it. Yeah. Like I've talked about it on my social media, and I just posted like a TikTok with him. We just got back from Costa Rica.
Is it the spicy food guy?
No.
Oh, sorry. I saw your TikTok. So I saw your TikTok with that spicy food guy.
No. He's a great. No, I love Rami. He's a great friend of mine, but no, not him. No. And yeah, he's like this guy. He's on my TikTok. We were just in Costa Rica, and it's amazing. I mean, and he's actually from West Philly.
Oh, cool.
And he's been here for 10 years, and I'm so happy. I feel like I found just the best person ever. So I mean, I feel like LA wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything that I was like standing out about guys, but I just, like I said, I cut out the fuckery so quick.
Makes sense. I mean, the biggest thing for like, I think in successful relationships too is like Cobra and I have had our issues, especially because, we moved in 4 months into dating each other.
Oh my God.
And so it's like, we had issues from like the first like 6 months of just kind of like, I had really bad trust issues because I always was cheated on. Pardon me. And also like, I had all of that built up trauma happening at that current moment. And she was there for me, but it was also something where it's like, in a relationship, you're feeling it out. Like, and fight. And like a lot of times, like for me, and this is kind of fucked up, but funny, I laugh every time we fight. And she's like crying. She's like, why are you laughing? I'm like,
you laugh? You just start laughing?
Well, after cry or whatever. But okay. I laugh at the most random time. And she's like, why are you laughing? And I'm like, because this is so good, because you're able to tell me how you feel, and I'm able to tell you how I feel, and we can move forward knowing exactly that.
I was just telling one of my best friends, I was like, this is the first time I'm in a relationship with somebody where even if we argue, I'm like looking forward to it because I feel like we get to know each other in a deeper way. It's great. Like we don't disrespect each other. You know what I mean? There's like arguments like any relationship, but it's like we get to know each other in a deeper way, and it's incredible.
We've never gone to bed upset with each other.
Good.
And so like that's the most.
It's a big rule for me.
That's most awesome thing ever. But it's also like again, like we had a very unique situation in our beginning of our relationship. Like this whole this stuff blew up right in the beginning of our relationship. We started getting a lot of followers, a lot of money really quick.
Yeah.
We became millionaires in the first year. And it's like something where it's like, going from negative in our bank accounts, not being able to afford anything, like all of a sudden to that was very, very interesting and very unique and something that was like very overwhelming. But I also I was always convinced that with the money and all the things the aspirations that I had for myself in the fame and the ability to be able to transgress a message to an audience and allow them to relate to like my life. Cause I always wanted to tell my story.
Yeah.
And you thought that once all that stuff, that was my problem with manifestation. Is once I pulled off every sticky note and I didn't have anything else to manifest about.
You weren't happy?
it's not that I wasn't happy because, oh, poor you. Like, you achieved all your goals. It was the fact is I thought that all my problems would have went away. But instead, I pushed them down. And those problems came back and hit me harder. And to a point where I was just, I couldn't justify my feelings because I had the same exact thing as, like, I was saying it in my head. It's like, why the fuck am I sad? Like, why the fuck?
Why you feel, and then you almost feel guilty for being sad.
But it's not even just that as well as, like, it's like, am I just, like, I was always focused on not having an ego. Or not having like I was always like I want to stay humble. I've had this like rough past. I never want to be a cocky asshole. And so it's like that came from me just self degrading myself. Like I always just put myself down because it's like that in my opinion was how I stayed humble. It's like no, understand your flaws and like so. From that moment all the way to now, it's like every day I will wake up and I will talk shit on myself to myself.
You should. And you should. I tell everybody that. I'm like, we've been fed this like belief of like, be like, don't think so much of yourself. I'm like, no, I wake up in the mirror and I'm like, I'm that bitch, been that bitch, still that bitch, will forever be that bitch. And then I smack my ass. And I go about my day. I really do. I swear I do.
Lovely.
And I look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, you look like, it's like before anybody can compliment you, compliment yourself. Like I don't depend on my boyfriend.
I said I talk shit on myself.
Oh, you talk shit. I was like, I thought you meant like you hype yourself up.
No.
Okay, let's take it back.
But that's something where it's like, no, it's something I'm working on because I know it's a problem. And that's like the biggest thing for me is like, in our relationship, like Cover is that fucking, I don't know why. I could talk for hours and hours about how awesome she is, but like that's also
amazing.
Like,
okay, Cover, if you're watching this, like.
She probably doesn't. She does not watch my shit. That's the one thing where like she does not, she's very much like she loves to hear about my experiences and when I do and then come home, but it's very much like it's not like she doesn't care, she just doesn't want to hear.
She's like, I've had enough.
I think the only thing she actually likes of my, which I think honestly she's my biggest critic and my biggest supporter.
Amazing.
The only thing she actually cares about is the music. Like that's the one thing where she's like, this is like she wants to hear everything about it.
That's awesome.
She wants to sit into my sessions. It's really nice.
Yeah. Oh wait, so I misunderstood you. Okay, so you like to shit on yourself before. It just makes you feel like you're being humble.
That's what I thought that's what I thought would keep me humble.
Wow.
It's like
you still do that?
It's like a habit.
Wow.
It's like something I can't get away from. I will judge every goddamn moment of my entire life, no matter whether it's singing. And it fucks with my singing.
Yeah, of course. You're being really hard on yourself.
Well, it's something where it's like I always viewed it as being hard on myself, and having that work ethic means that I'm just a successful person. Yeah. Because like you hear about Andrew Tate and you hear about all these like big old fucking like guys who are millionaires who are just like, fuck the system. I'm a workaholic. You have fun. You're a fucking nobody. You look like a nerd. And I'm just like I'm sitting there like I'm like yeah. Oh my God, like I need to be a piece of shit to myself. And I carried that up with me and now it's just like it's working backwards.
Alex, you need to be sweeter to yourself.
No, I know I do. Like that's the thing is like I'm very, very understanding of the fact that I have to.
Do you know what helped me and I like got my friends to do it a lot of? I put a picture of me as a little baby, of a little girl on my phone, like that's like my cover photo. Sure. So like I put a cute like picture of me at 5 years old where I'm smiling. And I always like look at it and I would look at it and I would be like, oh my God, like one of those days where I'm like being so mean to myself, I would look at it and be like, wait, I'm talking to her. Oh my God, like I would never say that. Like I would never look at little Maria and be like, you're so dumb, you're so stupid, you look like shit, like why would you do that? I would never talk to her. You're tired, really? Get the fuck together. I would never talk to her like that. So it's like, I started having that daily reminder of like, how am I like listening to my thoughts? Because I would look at her, me, and be like, okay, why are you talking to yourself like that? Yeah. Like why?
That's actually a good point.
So
I would never say that to someone else.
You would never say it to your kid. You can imagine talking to your kid and being like, you're fucking dumb. Like the way we talk to ourselves, which is so mean sometimes. So it's like, whenever I hear myself, because I still do it, like I'll be in front of the mirror and then I'll have moments where I'm like, oh, Maria, that was so dumb. Maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I'm this because I'm a human being, or I gain weight and then I have 1.3 million people telling me about it or asking me if I'm pregnant. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
And they love to ask me that. I'm like, no, I just had a burrito. Okay. Chipotle got extra chicken on it. Like, I'm not pregnant. I just got thick. But like, damn.
And you go, what the?
And then I smack my ass. I'm like, focus on the ass, not the belly.
Sure.
But you know what I mean? It really helped me like be kinder to myself. And I told my friends to do it. And they were telling me like, dude, that really helped me. Like I would see a picture of myself every day. Like, damn, why am I talking to myself like that? Yeah. It's just a reminder. So maybe something you can try.
It's so hard. I've been trying so hard.
I know.
It's like, it's such a weird thing to like think of yourself in a different way.
I promise you I know.
Oh my God. You know what I'm realizing? I feel like my podcasts are just turning into like therapy sessions for myself. I'm just now realizing this. Like, cause like, keep in mind, before we had another podcast today before you, his name was Nick. And I quite literally like just laid it out on the table and just like, do you overthink? Like I overthink and all these things. Like he's giving me his opinion and stuff. I'm just now realizing that I do this in every podcast, and I'm always thinking like I can get stuff out of people. I'm just literally talking about me and how my issues are like fucking terrible.
But that's the, like that's like the I think that's what a lot of people with podcasts like go through. Honestly, all the podcasts I've been to, they're like, I think we're having therapy. I'm like,
This
think
is
so
what
too.
I think I have guests come on my podcast.
So you don't have to go to therapy?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Oh my God.
But like what you go through is like we all go through. We all go through. We all get insecure. We all are so fucking mean to ourselves. Like I might smack myself and ads in the mirror and I'm still be like,
yeah,
Maria, what the fuck? That was so dumb. And it's like, no. So I feel you. I promise you.
That's so fucking funny. Oh my goodness gracious.
You're gonna call your girlfriend, babe. I'm not in therapy. I'm in my podcast. That's why.
Yeah. Oh my God. All right. What do you want to like? I think something like I always thought about like what do you want to do besides like you have your series that you're pitching, which it sounds amazing as it is. What do you think? I'm trying to structure this question because everyone always says, "What do you see yourself in 5 years?" But like, what do you want to accomplish, and where do you see it? Where it's like, I've done it. You know how artists have their "I made it" moment.
Yeah.
They perform their song and out in front of like them is 25, 50,000 people screaming back their lyrics. That's gonna be my "I made it" moment. What would be your "I made it" moment?
So there's a lot of things that I've wanted, that I've accomplished, that I'm really grateful for.
Yeah.
And now I'm in the place in my life where, for example, with the series, right? My biggest thing is showing Colombia in a grand scale to the world with something that has nothing to do with narcos, nothing to do with Pablo Escobar, nothing to do with bullshit, just a family filled with love, dreams, and a culture clash of very much me, an American, and also very much a Latina, right? So my most, I think, I made a moment will be once the series is out and I'm seeing the impact it has on Latinos for the culture, and not just Latinos, but like people worldwide to fully follow their dreams, because that is what the whole story is, right? It's a story about like overcoming so much. My dreams now have become a lot less personally about me or a number and more about impact in the culture. So for me, it'll definitely be that, seeing that little girl being like, I saw your series and like I went for my dreams because of that. You know what I mean? Oh my God, I also came to America with nothing and like I know that I can make this happen. Or, it's been really amazing when we're pitching these series and we're with executives that are white, Asian, Black. They're not Latinos and they're moved by the story, So it lets me know that it's just a universal thing. So that'll be my biggest thing. Once I know that I've done something for the culture, something that is different, something that is fresh, that shows Colombia and Latinos, and not as the maids of every series, not as the narcos of every series. I want that change. I want from there, Netflix and Hulu and them to come to me and say, okay, great, now produce shows and let me empower Latinos through that. You know what I mean? Put Latinas as the attorneys that we are and these, really high power roles. That is what I've seen. You know what I mean? I have all my family members and things like that. So it's like, I really want to come in and really disturb the peace on the way we see Latinos in the media. That's
fucking beautiful.
Thank you.
That's really cool. I'm excited to see this.
Thank you. It's my baby. It's my baby.
If you get a little rough draft, send it over my way.
We'll definitely talk.
So at this current moment, I'm going to decide whether you're guilty of this crime.
Okay.
I think you're not guilty. And you know why I think you're not guilty is I genuinely think that if you wanted someone dead, you'd probably just manifest it.
I'd call some goons up, okay?
Right. I think you write it in your little. I think you'd write it in your fucking thing. You put it out and produce it to Netflix, and all of a sudden it fucking happens to fruition.
They're gone.
I don't think you would poison them. I think you care too much about your food.
Thank you. Thank 100%. You. Yes, I do.
I think even if they were dead, if they didn't like your food, you'd still be insulted.
So. Yes, I would be like, "What do you mean? I'm crying." You're
right.
Like, yeah, 100%.
Is there anything you want? Like, do you have anything you want to talk about? Like, or sorry. Promote. I'm really bad at this. I've been trying to I want to be able to help people out too, and be able to have them talk about things, because I don't want to just leave it like that and they're like, I really wish I could have talked about my thing. I know you have your series coming out.
Yes.
Anything else exciting that you want to share?
I'm currently working also on a cooking show coming out.
Beautiful.
It's called Cooking for Pendejas.
Oh, and please, that'd be so
fun. So it's super fun. I already filmed the first 8 episodes. We're figuring it all out. I'm gonna have I have different celebrities, content creators come in, and we're twerking in the kitchen. We're making food from all over the world, and it's super fun. I'm gonna have you be one of my guests in my next episodes. Please come.
I'm
you don't
Irish.
have to know how to cook.
No. It's fine. I know how to twerk. I'm Irish. I'm British, and I'm as white as they come. But somehow I was blessed with a dump truck. I think genetically, my family has been bigger set. But I think all of that kind of carried to my man yiddies, and my bouteille. So I think
I love
honestly, I've learned to kind of shake that thing.
Oh my God.
And I would be happy to display that while we're cooking.
Yes,
up some.
So yeah, I'm currently working on that.
You teach me how to make a Colombian dish. I'll teach you how to make a pinkety drinkity.
Perfect. We'll make whatever you want.
Yep.
You just tell me.
100%.
And yeah, I'm gonna be announcing soon a really exciting business I'm gonna be coming out with later on this year.
You got it all figured out.
I'm super excited. So really great things are coming.
All right. So what's your? How can people find you?
Yes, you guys can find me on all my platforms: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at Miss Legarda, MissLegarda.
And at this moment, Maria, you are officially locked out.
Thank you.
Yes!